Hey guys, and welcome to Petrol Ped, and welcome to this week's Midweek 180. Whether or not this week can do as well as last week, because last week's Midweek 180 has had over 15,000 views, which I'm pretty sure is a record for a Midweek 180. If it's not the absolute maximum of views I've ever had, it's pretty close, and that was all down to the really sad story about Recaro, the seat manufacturer, going bust. So let's keep our fingers crossed. Maybe this week can beat that one. Also, just before anybody jumps in the comments about my t-shirt, this is a Wim Hof Method t-shirt. I am a big fan of Wim Hof. I did a retreat with him about 18 months ago now, and I do the kind of breath work in the mornings. I don't do the cold showers and the ice baths so much, but that's what that's all about. Anyway, if you've not seen one of these before, this is my midweek update, where I bring you my news, views, and information about upcoming reviews, all filmed in one take. Let's get the housekeeping from last week out the way first. Leader of the pack last week was Michael Kemba. Well done, mate. Joined in the Magnificent Seven by Ben Higginson, Gary Matthews, Paul Mead, Leanne Jackson, Dickie McVitie, and Kevin DG7. So whoever puts the first comment this week, you'll be my leader of the pack next week. And the first 7 comments will be in my Magnificent Seven. So, no Formula One at the moment because they're on their summer break, but I had my motor racing fix last weekend by going to the Moto GP at Silverstone with Michelin. And honestly, I haven't been to Moto GP since the days it was the British Motorcycle Grand Prix and it was held at Donington Park, and the likes of Kevin Schwantz and Wayne Rainey were racing around. That's my vintage. I went to the Moto GP last year to do a podcast, but we were there on Thursday, on the setup day, so I didn't actually see or hear any bikes going around. So this weekend, we were there on the Saturday and the Sunday. We saw qualifying and the sprint race, and then the main race on the Sunday, and then all of the supporting races. And honestly, it was just incredible, unbelievable racing. Even if you don't like motorbikes, you can't fail to watch MotoGP and be in awe of the control and the bravery and the skill of those riders. Just simply epic. The bikes themselves are awesome. They've got all of these aero devices on them. They are super lightweight, ridiculously powerful, running, 300 plus horsepower. They've got incredible anti-wheelie devices on them, all kinds of clever things to make them go fast. And they sound amazing. I mean, they honestly make F1 cars. I mean, I know the current generation of F1 cars don't sound brilliant, but MotoGP bikes, oh my days, they are loud. And to watch them, just the acceleration, the visible acceleration, it was an amazing, amazing weekend. Some fantastic racing, and I absolutely loved it. And I'm pretty sure that won't be my last MotoGP race. That's for sure. I can now see what my mate Joe sees in MotoGP. It was just fantastic, absolutely incredible. Now then, I need to make a comment about the video that I put up on Friday, which was about the Zero EV 2030 mandate. That video is doing really, really well. It's knocking on the door of 100,000 views. It's had 3,500 comments on it. So I am someone who tries to reply to every comment, but I've just been overwhelmed on that one. There's just no way that I can reply to everyone. I've read many of them. There's some heated debates going on in the comments section. Some people think that I've absolutely nailed the argument on the head and I'm right in the right lines. Other people think I'm a complete idiot. So you can't really win. But the video is doing really, really well. But in that video, I did talk about one of the challenges with the move to EV is the price of new electric cars. And I am not sitting here banging a drum for electric or banging a drum for petrol. I just love cars, irrespective of their drivetrain. But I have seen a really interesting press release today from HPI. So they're the guys where you can do a check on things like car finance and stuff. And HPI have released some data today that I find really, really interesting. And their data has basically worked out that the average retail price of EVs is now cheaper than the equivalent aged petrol and diesel car. Now, there may be many reasons for that, and I'm sure some of you will jump in the comments and help me out. I think there's a big depreciation issue with EVs, and maybe some of that's to do with worries about battery life and range. Others is to just do with living with an EV. But it's really, really interesting because lots of the comments about electric vehicle reviews that I do is that they are too expensive. But if you look at the used market, so for example, if you look at 3-year-old cars now, an equivalent electric vehicle is about 8.5% cheaper than the petrol or diesel equivalent. And if it's 4 years old, it's about 14% cheaper than the petrol or diesel equivalent. So that's opening up, I think, EVs to a completely new market of people. And then the really scary one, probably scary, it's scary if you've owned an EV, it's an opportunity if you haven't. But the average price of EVs has halved since 2022. So since 2022, if you were to look at something like an I-Pace or a Mercedes EQC or a Model X, the used prices of those now are typically £20,000 cheaper than they were in 2022. And if you were to look at something like a Taycan, the average used Taycan is some £40,000 cheaper than that equivalent car would have been in 2022. So I just think that's a really, really interesting bit of data. It's another part of that argument, right? It's another part of that conversation around EVs. So I would love to know your thoughts on that one. Maybe, I don't know what it is at the moment, I'm putting out videos that seem to be causing lots of comments. Monday's video I put out was all about some tyre testing I did at Myra with Michelin a couple of weeks ago now. And the main premise, there were two big demonstrations in the video. One of them was about underinflated tyres hampering the rolling resistance of the tyre and giving you poor fuel economy. And the main comment on that one was that we used two cars, one with tyres at the correct pressure, one with underinflated tyres. So many people said, oh, you should have put it in the same car. It's not a scientifically valid test. It was never meant to be a scientifically valid test. It's a demonstration just to show the point. I think everybody gets the point. It's not an empirically correct scientific test. Michelin do that. They spend millions and millions of pounds a year doing real tyre tests with real tyre testers. This was just a demonstration for a bunch of content creators like me. And then the other one was basically talking about when you change a pair of tyres, you should put them on the rear rather than the front. A lot of people agreed with that. The main comment has been, what about braking? So severe braking in wet weather. Because actually in dry weather, the more a tyre wears, the more effective it becomes at dry braking. But at wet braking, the argument would be that wasn't part of the test. But Michelin and many of the other premium brands design their tyres to run all the way to the wear markers, and they will be effective under wet weather braking even as they are worn. But a video's done really, really well, and some really, really positive comments. So thank you very much for that. If you've not seen those two videos, please head on over to the channel and have a look. And then just a heads up of what's coming, because I've got a busy couple of weeks ahead of me. So this Friday's video, I've been running the Mini Countryman JCW now for a couple of months, would you believe? I just can't believe where time's gone. So Friday's video is an update on the Countryman. We've done about 2,000 miles, learned a lot. Some things I really, really love about the car. There's some things that I didn't quite realise that maybe I don't love so much. But a really nice, balanced and honest opinion after a couple of thousand miles. That hits the channel on Friday at 6. And then I've got the new facelift BMW M4 convertible being delivered on Friday. And we've got some very special plans for that next week. So there will be a video coming to the channel about that, but I'm very much looking forward to that. And then the Dream Garage build it's just happening at such pace at the moment. The challenging thing at the moment, I'm actually recording 2 episodes. The next episode, which will hit the channel next Monday, and the one after that, they're being recorded in parallel because they're about 2 different aspects of the barn. It's scrambling my brain, man. It really is. But the next episode, episode 7, that's going to hit the channel on Monday next week. So make sure you tune in for that. But I'm super delighted about the general response to the Dream Garage build. I knew people might like it. I had no idea. And honestly, I think the best is yet to come. Clearly, we're going to get to see the end result, the end product. I think we are maybe 2 or 3 weeks away. In a couple of weeks' time, the vast bulk of the heavy lifting will be done. And what will be remaining is things like decorating and the nice finishing touches. But by the end of certainly the week after next, we'll have all the walls be done, all the architraving and skirting will be on, the flooring will be in, the kitchen will be in, the bathroom will be in, and hopefully the front will be all completely closed up. So there's lots to happen in the next few weeks, so make sure you stay tuned for that. Anyway, I've got lots to do today. So please, if you enjoyed that, please give me a thumbs up. Comments below are always welcome. And if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to Petrol for plenty more content to come. The sub numbers are ticking along quite nicely, but I'm always grateful of an extra sub. Let me know what you think about that article from HPI about used EV prices. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? What's driving that? That reduction in price. Clearly, if you've been in and bought a car, that's not great in terms of depreciation. But for new people entering the market, I think if you're looking at EV right now, a used EV, there are some bargains to be had. And most manufacturers give warranties on their batteries of up to 7 or 8 years. And actually what we're seeing now, because there aren't that many cars that have been around longer than that, the battery life that we're seeing is far better than even the manufacturers thought it would be. So, you know, it will be interesting to get your thoughts. But anyway, I shall see you on the next Friday, on the next video, which is this Friday at 6, which is the update on the Mini Countryman JCW. But for now, you take care, guys. Drive safe.